Alright, so in this video I'm going to take you through how to do an oil change on a BT50. Ours is a 2017. Should be the same process anywhere from like 2012 up until the current model with these 3.2 litre diesels. So a lot of people, I think, they get worried. I think something to do with the oil pump losing its prime if you leave it drain too long, and it can affect your engine when you start it up again. But I've done it dozens of times on our 2012 and our 2017. I've never had an issue, so I'm just going to take you through how I do it, quick and easy, and it might help you out and save you a bit of money when you just want to change your oil at home. So anyway, come in here. Our engine is pretty much standard from factory, apart from I run a ProVet 200 catch can kit. So it's in here. You can buy it as a kit on eBay. I'll try and find the details and put it in, but you unscrew the lid and then pull the filter out. So that's what it looks like. It's just a paper element with an O-ring, come in and then out, or vice versa. Anyway, this catches all the oil vapor, turns it into oil again and drops it in the bottom out the drain, and the fresh air goes back via a pipe into your intake. Pretty cool idea. I think they're about 250 bucks for the kit, and it takes you about an hour or so to fit up, but well worth it, to stop all this oily mist going through your intercooler and then come through your pipes into like all your sensors, your throttle and your MAF sensor and stuff. So, and then there's a drain tube on the bottom that goes down, and then whenever you do an oil change, you just crack the tap and drain the oil that comes out of there. So you should get, I don't know, 50 or 60 mils every oil change will come out of that, but I'll give you a look at that as well. The only other thing we've done, but that's for the auto, is on the front here in front of the intercooler. You won't be able to see it too well, but I've got a aftermarket tranny cooler in there. It's from Wholesale Automatics, and it does a great job because we're pretty heavy. We've got an upgraded GVM on this, so to keep the tranny cool and hopefully not blow it up, we've got one of those fitted. But anyway, come and have a look at the gear we need. So it's pretty simple. It only takes me about half an hour to change the oil normally, set up and everything, but I carry a little tub like this just for catching the oil. The oil capacity in these things is about 9.7 litres or something, so always buy a 10 litre drum of oil. I use this stuff, and it was lucky this time it was on special and saved me about 40 bucks, which is a bargain. The oil filter is a little paper element. I just use the Ryco ones from Supercheap. They're about 20 bucks, and it's a R2720P. A little funnel for dropping the oil in, ratchet, a couple of sockets for taking the protection off underneath your sump so you can get to your drain plug, and then either a shifter or a big socket to get your oil filter off. I think it's 1.25 inches, but I've somehow managed to lose that, so I'm just using a shifter. It's no dramas because they only do up to about 14 Newton meters or something. Not much, when you crank the oil filter housing up. But anyway, that's about it. You need a screwdriver to take the mud flap off the inside of the guard to access the oil filter, and I'll show you how to do that. So anyway, let's get into it. So I do a bit of setup before I start the service. Always crank your wheel to your right hand side. Allows you to get access in there to the inside guard, and then on the mud flap inside, when you get in there, you'll see these clips, and all they do is hold the mud guard to the chassis and that. So you just need a screwdriver, you put them in there and easily wind them out. As they wind out, then you can just pull these pins out and take the mud flap down. So in here, come in here, there's 4 across the top. All I do is take these 1, 2, 3, 4 out, and then just fold that flap down, and then in there you can see the oil filter housing. So that's the easiest way to access it. Right, so when I'm prepping to put the oil back in the engine, make sure you take this sort of safety or anti-spill device off the top here, because you can be chasing your tail trying to do that when you're in a hurry trying to pull the oil back in. So get that done, and then also when you're at Supercheap getting your gear, get some degreaser, because afterwards you're going to have to spray a bit around just to tidy everything up. Anyway, just about ready, let's go and do it. Alright, so we're under here about to drop the bung out of the sump. I've removed my underbody armour. I run aftermarket stuff from ARB, but there'll be a bash plate there on standard Mazda that you have to pull out, just 4 bolts. Drop it out, then it's a 13mm socket or spanner onto the sump plug. Now they shouldn't be real tight, and when you do it back up, make sure you don't do it too tight, because there's an O-ring in there that'll chew out. So we'll crack this and loosen it off till it's finger tight, and then we can throw the bucket under. It's always handy to have a rag with you too, because you'll probably get a bit of oil on your hand and your arm when you pull the plug out.
Yeah.
Right, so that sump plug's finger tight now. I'll put that under there, grab my rag, I'll just let him out into the bucket.
Ew.
You beauty, look at that. And then what we do, I just wait for it to drain. As soon as it's sort of stopped flowing, I put the bung back in, just loose, and then I go straight up and fill the oil back up. So try and take care of that O-ring on there, because to get another one from Mazda is about 14 bucks or something silly. So they're a weird sort of O-ring that you can't really find anywhere. So make sure you look after it and don't crank it up too tight when you put it back in. So anyway, so the oil's just starting to stop there now. Once that stops flowing, I'll push this in and we'll go and fill her up. Another good tip too, I suppose, make sure you've got a big enough container to hold 10 litres or more of oil, so you don't get halfway through draining it and it starts overflowing. Could get a bit messy. The oil's all drained out pretty much. We'll bash this drain plug back in. Try and make sure you don't cross thread it on the way in. Just nip him up by hand, it should be easy enough so it won't leak. We'll jump up the top and put the oil in. Alright, so we've got our funnel ready. Crack our oil filler cap, pop this straight in here, and then just start pouring it in. So because you know it's 9.7 litres, you don't have to worry too much. You just sort of start topping her up until this 10 litre tub's nearly empty, and you know you've put enough oil in. So you don't need to stop and check your dipstick all the time. Just feed her in. Righto, so that's nearly empty, probably half a litre left in there, so we'll put that down, tidy this up, and we'll go and change the oil filter before we start her up, and then we can check the oil on the dipstick and top it up if needed. So anyway, how easy is that? Alright, so we'll change the oil filter now. Like I said, normally I've got an 1.25 inch socket, but I don't know where it is, so I've got these, pretty handy. It'll do alright because it's not very tight. So come in here and have a look. Just chuck him in here. Put your jaws or your socket on the head of your filter housing.
That's on top.
Alright, and then just spin him off. Make sure you move your oil tub underneath here because you'll probably lose a bit. But then as you pull him off, you just bring it straight out towards you out of the mudguard. Try and catch as much oil as you can. Sometimes the filter comes out with it, sometimes it doesn't. You just reach in there and pull him out, and that's it, come out with this. That's what she looks like. Now we'll go and change the oil filter and put a new one in. So pull him out, that's all it is. Change that paper element. There's an O-ring on here too, we'll change that one. Clean up the inside of the housing inside there, and then screw him back on.
Jeez.
So in the new packet for the oil filter, you'll get a new paper element, which is just like this one here, and then a new O-ring as well. So make sure you run the new O-ring, otherwise you might put it back on and pinch the old one or something. So you're best off running a new one, but you've got to be careful. If you don't have a seal pick, you can use a screwdriver or something, but just be careful picking it out, because if you scratch the inside of that housing, you'll get oil leaking around it. So in there, anyway, have a good look at it while you got it out, make sure it all looks legit. Clean it up. And got a new O-ring there. If you got some fresh oil, it's a good idea to slap a bit of that on. I've got some pretty oily fingers there, so I'll just put it on. And then just roll the new one down. And on there. If you get your seal pick under it and run it around, that'll take any twist out of the O-ring and prevent it from having any leaks. There we go. I'll just tip this oil out and then I'll throw the new filter in and we can put it back on. New filter, doesn't matter which way it goes. Push him on, it'll click as it goes down and spin like that. And then what I do is I'll get my rag, a clean rag, give the inside of the oil filter housing a wipe out, make sure it looks alright, and then I'll just screw that straight back in. Alright, so that's the oil filter put back on. Oil's filled up most of the way, just jump in, start him up, and wait for that oil light to go out. You can see it on your dash, there you go. Oh, it's gone, you missed it. Anyway, let it run for a minute or so, get all that fresh oil through there, shut it down, and then we can check the dipstick and top up if need be. But I'll go around now and then just use a bit of degreaser and stuff around the oil filter housing, the drain bung. Make sure you tighten your drain bung back up, make sure you haven't got any leaks, and then you can fit your inner mudguard and your sump protection underneath, and you're good to go. See? All up, it's taken me about half an hour, and I've been mucking about filming it and stuff, so it's not a hard job. Right, and then all you have to do is check your oil level. So pull your dipstick out, make sure she's 3/4 of the way up the cross hatching there. We'll clean it off and go again just to be sure. Here we go. Top it up with a little bit more oil, we'll be good to go. So what I do with the waste oil, wherever you buy it, like the Super Cheap and stuff, out the front there'll be like a waste oil bin. So because I've got nearly 10 litres in there and I've already used the oil out of there, you just pour it straight back in. Try and be as neat as you can. Put the lid on and then just drop it back at the Super Cheap in the oil bin. So don't put it in your normal rubbish and stuff, like you never know where it's going to end up. Take it to the waste oil and do the right thing. But anyway, piece of cake. Now I just got to clean this tub up. I usually carry like a few tools and bits for the caravan in this tub, so I just wipe it out with a bit of degreaser, and then it lives in the front boot of the caravan, so I don't have to carry an extra waste oil drum for changing the oil. But that's it anyway. So hope you get a few tips out of that, and you can have a crack at it yourself. Saves a lot of money, you know. Like if you go to a dealership, you're paying, I don't know, like 140 bucks a litre for oil, some ridiculous amount, plus 160 for labour. Ends up costing you a lot of money when you can go and get this oil and filter. Cost me 110 bucks. The oil was on sale, and I don't know, about an hour of your own time mucking about. A couple of beers makes it easier as well. So anyway, any questions, comments, hit us up. I might I'll show you how to change the fuel filter next. So they're easy as well, but you just need to know the right way to do it. Happy days. See ya.